after a slow start, Ohio State on the road takes on Washington 24-6. Defense was phenomenal. Offense ran the ball pretty well, got the job done. Ohio State fans weren't too happy with the play calling especially. But once again, they get the job done on the road against a good team, so you can't be mad at that. Initial thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it. I work at the state football games, and so I literally put my phone down. Like I just don't get to keep up. This was kicked off at the same time as ours.
2:30.
Yeah. So
close,
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my phone from like an hour before kickoff because I run around so much with my camera that it just like is in the way in my pocket. So I didn't know what was happening in this game. I was looking at the box scores, and like y'all might want to confirm this, but like the yardage is not that. Like I was trying to figure out like what led to the score looking so janky. Washington has 0 turnovers.
They did try and fake a.
Yeah,
I would count it as a turnover.
Yeah.
So they
100%.
They tried to fake a field goal and didn't go well.
Yeah, so I was gonna say they
If
had
you
the
haven't
0.
seen that, I'd go look at that while we're talking.
Saying
Yeah,
it didn't
I
go
will
well
say.
is
They had the
Yeah.
0 turnovers. They had 230 yards to Ohio State's 360. So they were outgained, but not by like several hundred yards. But the thing that stands out to me, 1 for 11 on third downs.
Yep.
That you just can't win a football game like that.
1 for 11 on third downs. Damon Williams got sacked 6 times, so negative plays. And that kind of was Ohio State's game plan in a lot of ways. This is a very explosive football team with their stars. Let's take away the explosive stuff and make them earn it in long drives. And Washington could just never finish any sort of drive because they couldn't convert on third down because they ended up getting sacked. So stuff like that. And the game plan worked perfectly. Which I do want to say, I came away, and I think this should be the takeaway, I came away more impressed with Ohio State's defense and not being the person that's like, well, Washington's just not that good. Like, we way overrated these playmakers of Washington because those guys are good, I promise. The Ohio State defense just has the athletes and the speed and the skill across the board to neutralize them.
Yeah, I was 3 weeks early on Caden Curry.
Did you see his press conference?
I did not.
He goes, yeah, I feel like the thing about this D-line and, like, we're just a bunch of no-names out there fighting. I was like, dog, like, I appreciate you being humble, but, like, you're becoming a name.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
But, yeah, continue.
Yeah, I thought Caden Curry might have been the key to the Texas game. He was 100% the key to this game. Has 3 sacks, 5 tackle for losses. But I agree 100%. The Ohio State defense is the big takeaway. Not that Washington is bad. Like, they are just as fast as the most explosive athletes really in the country, and Damon Williams and Jonah Coleman. And Caden Curry was phenomenal, but I do think it was, Washington kind of, they at least missed a chance to make this competitive in the first
100%.
half. They go 3 and out. Ohio State has a decent drive, and then Ohio State can't get a 4th and 1. You stop a 4th and 1 of Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's incredible showing. You've go down. They punt it again, and then I think Ohio State punts. Field goal for Washington. And then the fake field goal, for me, makes no sense. In Madden, it would work. But that is a textbook Madden fake field goal.
Gotcha.
I just
It's
watched
the one
it.
where they flip it to the kicker, and the kicker hits the tight end.
Did the tight end know what they were running?
Evidently, clearly not.
Yeah, okay. I just watched it, and he never turns around.
Yeah, he never turns to look for the ball. Someone didn't know the play call there. That was very, very clear, and clear that he didn't know the play call. Now, it doesn't make any sense that he runs out that way and then doesn't turn back for the ball. Like, I guess maybe he thought the kicker was supposed to run it the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was like an RPO on the flip. But just take the damn points, especially on I think it was 4th and 14, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it's a super questionable decision. I don't necessarily understand. I would just taking the points with the way your defense had been playing, at least at this point.
Don't give Ohio State juice.
You want to make Julian Sayin earn it, just as much as they're making your stars earn it. And that was really the momentum flip from there. Ohio State goes down and they go down and score a touchdown right after that. It's all Ohio State from there.
The roughing the passer to extend that drive also hurts.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that changed the game or anything, but it was second and long, and then they get a free first because of that.
They were incredible in containing Demond as well. 6 sacks, 6 sacks against a mobile quarterback is really a statement. Like, that's the statement that the Lions made last Monday night,
100%.
sacking Lamar Jackson as much as they did. To do that against Demond Williams, it's a huge statement, and it's a statement of, like I said, their defensive linemen and their front seven really is just
Arvell
as
Reese
quick.
Is continuing to rise with
Reese
how
is
he's playing.
He's a dog.
so quick.
And Sonny Styles is. I still think Sonny Styles is a name.
Yeah.
So I don't
100%.
understand Caden Curry's statement on that.
Just trying to be humble. You're so wrong, but like a good try, I guess, and not wrong in a bad way.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've been high on Caden Curry. Since last year, but that's because he's a Central Michigan legend.
Sure.
He transferred to my Central Michigan team last year, in last year's game, that is. But
Gotcha.
Ohio State's defense really was a statement. They were, again, conservative offensively, but they didn't have to be aggressive.
So that's what something I wanted to ask y'all is, like, they still aren't really letting Julian Sayin just take shots. He was very efficient.
Yes.
But didn't throw the ball past 20 yards down the field once, so, like, no really true deep shots. And I think that's really frustrating Ohio State fans. Are y'all worried about that at all, or do y'all think it's just, hey, we're running the ball pretty well?
I think
we can take the underneath stuff.
It's kind of,
No
I
worries.
feel like it's kind of like the Eagles, where they're just like, we just don't have to. Like, in the same way that the Eagles, for the first 2 weeks, just ran the ball, and that was kind of their identity, and so they didn't have to have big plays on offense through the air. I kind of feel like Ohio State's like, our defense is just so good. I mean, we held Washington and arguably the best trio of weapons, and Demond Williams, Jonah Coleman, and the wide receiver, I can't remember off the top of my head. Denzel Boston. Like, that's arguably the best trio of skill guys in the country. They held them to 6 points. Like, we don't need Julian Sayin to record, 275, 350 yards through the air. Like, we can hold another team to 10 points and then rush for 2 touchdowns and we win. Like,
Sure.
they're just content to do what it takes. They don't need to be flashy. So I don't think it's concerning, because I do think that the talent is there in Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. And I think that Sayin has played well. Like, he's kind of like J.J. McCarthy, where he's like doing what he's supposed to and he's not doing anything more because he doesn't need to. And so I think that I'm not saying that he could ever go out and like play at a Heisman right now, go out and like in a game play like a Heisman player. But if they had to dial it up from level 3 to level 5, I think he could.
Yeah.
And so I don't think there's anything to be worried about there.
Not any major concern. I do think it is kind of weird that there's not even just like 1 or 2 a game where you're just like looking for it. And I think the main cause for concern with the Ohio State fans is it's a new play caller, and he's never called plays before, and Brian Hartline. So like, I think there's just some worry because they don't know. He's never done it, and they've not been too happy with the play calls as a whole. There's just some angst there.
I'm not concerned because that's what happened last year.
Sure.
I felt like, at least. Statistically, it kind of backs it up. The only time Howard threw for 300-plus in Big Ten play last year was at Oregon, and they were incredible in that game, and he was. But other than that, the highest he ever had was 260, which he threw against Purdue. The next highest was 247 at Northwestern. But in the Indiana game, where Indiana was the 5th-ranked team in the nation, he threw for 201. The Michigan game that they lose, 175. At Penn State, he threw for 182. So that is kind of how they at least play through Big Ten play. Last year, they relied heavily on their defense and their ability to run the football. That is, again, what they're kind of doing this year, just more heavily reliant on defense. But I wouldn't be concerned because that changed once we got to the playoff and we got to the big games when it mattered. Will Howard throws for 300 in like almost 0-degree weather against Tennessee. 319 in the Rose Bowl against Oregon. Essentially 300 against Texas, and then hits the shot that wins them the national championship to Jeremiah Smith in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
They eventually, I think, will open it up, but I don't think that they want to try to do that, which I understand. I don't understand concern, but I understand being angered with it because it's not like it's not fun.
If you're a fan of the team and you have Jeremiah Smith, Cardell Tate, and you're not taking deep shots, it's kind of like, I would be frustrated too. It's
it's
not like you're not playing with your toys.
It's not what they were either previously, like pre-Will Howard with C.J. Stroud and Dwayne Haskins. Like, this was a team that really lit it up through the air, and that's why their receivers had such godly numbers. I mean, you think of, like, the Rose Bowl game with Jackson Smith and Jigba and his numbers in that game. Like, that is just something you wish you were seeing. But I don't think it's a concern because I think they could eventually get to it.
Fair.
I think Sayan has just as good of an ability to throw the football as Will Howard does. So
potentially even better. I mean, no, I'm not trying to dog on Will Howard, but he was known more as kind of the running type quarterback. So
I think it's something they'll get to. But for now, like, they only care about winning and stacking wins, and that's all they should
and
care
they're doing
about.
that very well currently.
Because ultimately, like, the only thing that matters to this team is the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh,
and
100%.
That's the only thing that should matter right now. So until then, I think they only care about stacking some W's so that they can get to that game.
Fair. Another thing I want go ahead.
I was going to say, do we want to talk about what's next for Washington?
In just a second,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Another thing, Bo Jackson was up to 17 carries. His previous high, I believe, was 10. So kind of further evidence that room is becoming his, despite him being a freshman. Not that C.J. Donaldson, Peoples, they're fine. But I really like him. I think it's slowly becoming his job. He didn't necessarily have the best day from a yards per carry standpoint, but keep feeding him. He looks really impressive. So I like to see that. What's next for Washington? It's just simply, okay, you got beat. Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country. Regroup and just rattle off a couple wins. You want to read off what their next games are?
Yeah, so they are at Maryland, and then they'll play Rutgers on a Friday night. Then they go to Michigan, host Illinois, bye a week, at Wisconsin, host Purdue, at UCLA, host Oregon, which is the big one. They host Oregon. I think 9-3. They have a conversation for the playoff, but I think they got to get to 10-2.
I think
Agreed.
so too. I think
they're going to have to go 2-3 in the Michigan, Illinois, and Oregon game.
Yeah.
And I think 10-2 is good enough to put them in the playoff consideration. The big thing they have going for them is because this is people that are picking the teams.
And they're fun.
They're fun. They have Damon Williams. You have Jonah Coleman. I think people are going to think Washington are better and they'll win that conversation against maybe a 9-3 Missouri.
Yeah.
Or
Illinois, if they end up being 9-3.
9-3, 10-2 Illinois. Like, I think they have a chance to win that conversation. So their season is by far not over. Ohio State embarrasses pretty much everybody.
Yeah. I think
except Michigan.
I think at 10 wins, you're like guaranteed to get in because it means you either only lost to Ohio State and Oregon, or you beat Oregon and lost to either Michigan or Illinois, probably.
Yeah.
So that's a good resume either way.
And they get 2 of those 3 at home. At the Big House, at least. I don't want to say recently. It just doesn't feel like it holds as much. And I think they would play competitive in that game. Like USC was competitive in the Big House last year. And I don't think it'll be any different for Washington going there. I think they match up well, too, against that defense. And we just haven't seen enough from Bryce Underwood to say that Bryce Underwood's going to tear apart Washington.
Yeah. This is also a Washington team that we're talking about them potentially making the playoffs. They can go 9-3, not make the playoffs, and still be a very good season. It's a step forward for Jed Fish there, considering what roster he inherited post Kalen DeBoer.
Damon should return, too. Just a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken.
He is correct. So he'll return, just keep building, getting more talent. And if you go 9-3, it means you picked up a pretty big win this season against a ranked team. So you just can't be mad at that. You just can't let it spiral from here. And knowing Damon, knowing Jed Fish, I don't think that'll happen.